Emeka was an ordinary university student in Lagos. His days were filled with lectures, late-night studying, and the occasional stroll with his girlfriend, Ada. Life wasn't bad, but it wasn't exciting either. One Friday afternoon, while waiting for a friend, Emeka walked into a betting shop. He'd always heard boys talk about sporty bets, how just one ticket fit change your life. Curiosity nudged him. He placed a small bet with the little money left from his weekly allowance. The following evening, he checked his phone nervously. His eyes widened, and his heart pounded. He had won big. More money than he had ever seen in his life. For the first time, he wasn't just another broke student. In that moment, Emeka felt powerful, like the world had finally opened its doors to him. Word traveled fast around campus. By Monday, everyone knew Emeka had struck gold. Friends who once ignored him now sat by his side, laughing at every joke. Strangers approached him for favors, and he basked in the attention. Ada was the happiest, though. Emeka took her shopping, buying her new shoes, dresses, and jewelry. Her friends whispered enviously as Ada flaunted her new gifts. For once, Emeka felt like he could give her everything she deserved. But beneath the shine of his new popularity, a seed of hunger was quietly taking root. With money in his pocket, Emeka discovered a new side of himself. He dined at eateries he once thought were out of reach, ordered suya by the kilo, and even began giving tips to classmates like a boss. Ada's smile widened each day. "Emeka, you're different now," she said, her voice full of admiration. But Emeka wasn't content. Winning once had set a fire in him. If luck had favored him before, why wouldn't it again? One evening, Emeka walked past the betting shop and felt the same pull he had weeks earlier. His winnings were still heavy in his account, but the thought of doubling or tripling it was intoxicating. He walked in, confident. This time, he placed a bigger bet, with higher odds. The cashier looked at him curiously but didn't say a word. Emeka left the shop with his heart racing, imagining the possibilities. Ada noticed his distraction but brushed it off. "You worry too much, babe," she teased, not realizing his mind was locked on the ticket in his pocket. The result came late into the night. Emeka's team won, and his balance doubled again. He screamed so loud his neighbors thought he'd gone mad. He couldn't believe it twice in a row. The next day, he bought Ada the latest smartphone. She hugged him tightly, her eyes sparkling with gratitude. But while she admired the sleek phone, Emeka stared at the betting slip in his hand, already wondering, what if I win again? Emeka turned Ada into the envy of every girl on campus. Perfumes, handbags, dinners at fancy places, she got it all. Ada was overjoyed, proud of her boyfriend's transformation. But not everyone celebrated. Emeka's closest friend, Chinedu, pulled him aside one afternoon. "Guys, shine your eyes. This money day's sweet now, but betting no day last." Emeka laughed it off. He believed his luck was different, his destiny charmed. The thrill of betting consumed him. The adrenaline of placing a ticket, the pounding heart as results rolled in, the high of winning, it was addictive. Lectures became background noise. His mind was always on the next game. Ada noticed his absence more often. "Emeka, why you no day spend time with me like before?" she asked. He kissed her forehead, assuring her it was all for their future. But deep down, Emeka wasn't thinking of their future, he was chasing the next rush. The streak ended suddenly. Emeka placed a massive bet one Saturday, sure of the outcome. He watched the game live at the cafe, surrounded by cheering fans. But his chosen team missed a penalty, and just like that, his money vanished. He stared at the screen in disbelief. The room spun around him. The cashier shrugged, it was just another day for them. But for Emeka, it felt like the ground had been pulled from under his feet. When Ada asked about the weekend, Emeka lied. "Oh, I sent some money to my uncle," he said casually. She believed him, smiling at his supposed generosity. He couldn't bear to admit he'd lost so much in one night. But the loss haunted him. He couldn't sleep, replaying the moment in his head. One thought echoed over and over. I must win it back. With most of his winnings gone, Emeka did something he swore he never would. He borrowed money. First from classmates, then from Chinedu. He assured them he'd pay back quickly, confident another win was just around the corner. Chinedu warned him, "Guy, you day play with fire. No so people day spoil." But Emeka waved him off. The hunger was louder than any warning. Ada planned a small surprise for Emeka's birthday, inviting friends over and cooking jollof rice. But when she called him, he was at the betting shop. He arrived late, distracted, his mind still on the game he'd lost. Ada tried to cheer him up with cake, but Emeka barely smiled. She felt a chill, wondering if their love was still enough for him. Lecturers began to notice Emeka's declining grades. His once sharp answers in class were replaced with blank stares. When a professor called him out, laughter filled the room. Humiliated, Emeka stormed out, heading straight for the betting shop. Ada confronted him. "This is not you, Emeka. What's happening?" He muttered something about stress and walked away, unable to admit the truth. Luck returned briefly. Emeka placed a risky ticket and won just enough to clear his debts. The relief washed over him like rain after a drought. He celebrated with Ada, taking her to an expensive restaurant. For a moment, it felt like things were back to normal. Ada laughed, her eyes shining, and Emeka convinced himself everything would be fine. But deep down, the hunger whispered again, more, bigger, higher. Emeka lived in two worlds, the charming boyfriend and campus star with Ada, and the desperate gambler lurking in betting shops at night. He perfected his lies, hiding his losses with fake confidence. But the cracks were widening. Ada began noticing his late-night absences, his distracted gaze, the constant checking of scores on his phone. One evening, Ada confronted him directly. "Emeka, are you betting again?" He froze, then laughed nervously. "Baby, no nah. I just day watch football." Her eyes searched his, but he deflected with charm. Yet in her heart, Ada knew something was wrong. The losses piled up. Emeka owed more people, dodging calls and promising repayment. The pressure mounted. At night, he lay awake sweating, imagining debt collectors at his door. Still, he placed tickets, hoping for that one miracle win to fix everything. Each loss dragged him deeper into the pit. Ada discovered the truth when she overheard Chinedu scolding Emeka. "You day borrow money for bet again? You won kill yourself." She confronted him, tears streaming down her face. "So it's true? All those gifts, all those lies." Emeka tried to hold her, but she pushed him away. "You're not the man I thought you were." Ada walked away, leaving Emeka shattered. He begged, promised to change, but she shook her head. "Until you choose me over gambling, I can't stay." That night, Emeka placed another desperate bet, trying to numb the pain of her absence. He lost again. The debts caught up with him. Emeka was cornered outside the hostel by two angry boys demanding repayment. He barely escaped, his pride in tatters. Alone, broke and heartbroken, he realized how far he had fallen. Yet the urge to gamble still gnawed at him. Chinedu, refusing to abandon his friend, dragged Emeka to a church program. The pastor spoke about addiction, about finding strength beyond oneself. Emeka sat quietly, something stirring within him. For the first time, he admitted to himself, "I have a problem." Emeka avoided betting shops for a week, focusing on lectures and trying to rebuild trust with Ada. She noticed the effort but remained cautious. Every day was a battle. He deleted betting apps, but the temptation loomed each time he heard boys talk about odds. One Saturday, unable to resist, Emeka slipped back into the shop. He told himself it was just one small ticket. When he lost, the shame was crushing. Ada found out and cried, "You'll never change." Her words cut deep. Emeka felt like a prisoner to his own choices. His father discovered his gambling when debt collectors called the house. Furious, he confronted Emeka. "This is the life you choose? To disgrace us." His mother wept, begging him to stop. Emeka sat in silence, shame flooding him. Ada returned one last time. I love you, Emeka. But I can't keep doing this. If you don't stop today forever, we're done. Her voice broke, but her eyes were firm. Emeka's heart cracked. He realized he stood at the edge of losing everything. Quitting was harder than Emeka imagined. He shook at night, restless, craving the thrill of betting. His mind screamed for just one more. But with Chinedu's support, he resisted, filling his days with studies and part-time work. Slowly, painfully, he began to regain control. Ada watched from a distance as Emeka stayed consistent. Weeks passed without a relapse. He apologized sincerely, not with gifts but with actions. She softened, seeing the change, though scars remained. Trust, she reminded him, would take time. Emeka began excelling again in class. His professors noticed, even praising his sharp answers. He smiled genuinely for the first time in months. Though broke, he felt lighter. No debt, no lies, just slow, steady progress. A friend waved a winning slip in Emeka's face, bragging about easy money. The old hunger roared inside him. He walked away trembling, sweat pouring, but he didn't go inside. That night, he cried in relief, knowing he had chosen a different path. Ada returned fully, holding his hand. You're not perfect, Emeka, but you're trying. That's all I ever wanted. He smiled, tears in his eyes. For once, he felt worthy again. Together, they planned for the future, talking not of bets but of dreams, careers, travels, and maybe one day, a family. Months later, Emeka stood outside the betting shop where it all began. He stared at the flashing signs and shook his head, walking away. He wasn't rich, but he had something better: peace of mind, self-control, and Ada's love. The memory of his highs and lows would never leave him, but now he knew. True wealth wasn't found in risky odds, but in loyalty, discipline, and love.